Hey everyone, Christa Norris here from Shaper World Coaching. I hope you're having an incredible weekend, very happy day so far, and a very happy Sunday. I am recording this sans glasses, without my glasses that I normally wear, and it's interesting. I've got contacts in so I can still see. Because something I've realized is that there is a beautiful piece of me that I have been keeping hidden. And not wearing my glasses is a beautiful symbol of sharing all of that with you. And essentially, it is me sharing with each of you a greater piece of my deeper authenticity, who I am, right? Without the glasses, without filters, without other things that I realized could be hiding me from you. You know, I share a lot in these videos. I share a lot with the people I work with, colleagues. I'm here to support my clients and so on. I tend to be pretty open, tend to be one of those people, what you see is what you get. I'm pretty upfront in general about how I'm feeling. You know, I'm not one to hide around dealing with conflicts, for instance. I will just upfront say, hey, what's going on? We've got to talk. But something I've been realizing through my daily energy work and grounding and meditation exercise that I do, just as a part of my normal routine, is that even with all of that, there has still been, which is, it's so amazing how this stuff works. There still has been a deeper layer, another part of me that I've been keeping locked away, keeping hidden. Now, some of this you may relate to, and it's not to say that we have to, you know, share every single aspect of ourselves out into the world all the time. I don't. You know, I probably will still keep aspects of my world private, and I think that's okay. I think that's all right. But where the line gets drawn and where you go too much on the other side is when you are not sharing enough for reasons other than, you know, that you just like a nice work-life balance, for instance. When there's a place and a space within you that is feeling like you need to keep yourself locked inside, that is where the conflict comes in. That is where you're going too much on the side of privacy and of not being seen. And that is what I realized in my meditation today and yesterday, and my grounding and energy work that I have been doing without realizing, really without realizing how much it was the next layer that needed to come up to be seen with all of you. And, you know, part of why each of us is here is to be seen. There's this great quote I remember from Oprah Winfrey. And she was talking, something that really struck me at the time that I saw this clip from the talk show she did. And, you know, for many years, obviously. And it's something that has always stayed with me. And she was talking and reflecting upon her talk show, you know, the over 20 years of doing the show that she did. And I think the gist of the interview, because it was just a YouTube clip that I saw. I hadn't even realized her show had ended. I was so like under a rock, way out of the loop. But I was on YouTube and I saw this clip, and she must have been interviewed about how the show was for her and the lessons and things that she took with it for her. What did she learn, basically? And one of the things she said really struck me, and I'm going to paraphrase here, But she said, if I'm remembering correctly, in her over, I think it was 26 years of having the talk show that she did, there was something that really stuck with her, and it was a lesson and a reminder about how each of us works in this world and in this life and what we each need. And she said, it doesn't matter who you are, what your background is, all the way from, Joe and Laura who live down the street to their children to, the biggest celebrities, the highest level of politicians, KKK members, pillars of the community, teachers, doctors, whoever it is. She said there's something that connects each of us and each of them. And she said that is that everyone who came on their show wanted to be heard, wanted to be seen. And she said, it's not just people who were on her show, although obviously they had a story to share and that they wanted to tell to the world. She said it's something she realized is a common thread that connects us all. Wherever we live in the world, again, whatever our background, whatever we're doing. And she said, we all want to be seen. Each and every one of us wants to be seen, wants to be heard, and wants to have our truth validated. To know that it's not just us and that what we believe is true. And within that, there's this thread about being seen, about having our truth known, and having something that connects us for people to say, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I see what you're saying. And I know what you're talking about. I understand. And so within that, I realized yesterday and today that there was a piece of me that still would like to be seen, a deeper layer. One of the ways I describe self-development to my clients and the people I'm here to help and to serve, we have service to and to support, is that every issue we go through in life, whether it's a lifelong pattern, a family dynamic that's been handed down in the generations, maybe it's a habit that you'd like to change or to shift, whatever it is, the reasons you're not already accomplishing what you would like to accomplish is because there's something blocking you. There's something getting in the way, whether it's a fear, a worry, obstacle, block, energy you're carrying, maybe a deep hidden emotion that you've kept locked away. It might not even belong to you. It might be something that you heard or that people said was a definition of who you are, but actually that's not ever been something you believed in the first place. It was just something you were told about yourself. Whatever is at the heart of why you're not already accomplishing everything you would like to be, why certain issues are still a difficulty for you, that if you think about that core reason why, being like an onion, say it's an onion, and the core energetic reason is at the very center of it. So your big why, the big reason why you're not already where you would like to be. And as you go through your life, you've got your onion and the core reason of whatever is blocking you. Everything you do in self-development to help yourself, to learn whatever it is you need to learn, to heal, to receive support, all, whether it's, let's say, talking to a friend, taking a class, training in something for yourself, whatever it is, all those steps you take are like peeling the layers of the onion. And you peel and you peel and you peel until finally, when at a place in this, a rate that works for you as a person individually, until you finally get to that core, the root reason why that issue was there for you at all. So finally you get to the root and the core. And, sometimes it can be a process, this unraveling of the onion layers. Sometimes it can take a while. Sometimes, you are ready to deal with certain layers of it, maybe the upper layers. And then you go on and you live your life and you do what you need to do. And then you realize, what the F? It's coming up again. How have I dealt with this? The hell? So you take whatever steps you need to unravel more layers. And then you go about your life and do what you need to do. And you're like, what the F? It's coming up again. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. I've had a lot of conversations with people to know that this is a pretty common experience. And then, so again, you take whatever steps you need to take and you unravel more layers of your onion. Well, for me, this visibility and being fully seen is one of those layers of an onion for me. We each have a few, and they will be sort of the really big threads in your life, the really big issues, things that keep coming up perhaps, or coming up time and again in different ways. And at the root and the core is something there for you to learn, something there for you to heal through and from. For me, again, my onion is at the root and the core is a fear. That fear has its own energy. Fear is an emotion. It can be, all of this stuff, it can be measured by science. They figured it out. Emotions give off their own energetic frequency and so forth, waves. And for me, that particular energetic onion that we're talking about at the core is fear of being seen. And associated with it, kind of like jots off like that, and it is another onion, but they're connected by a thread, is fear of what might happen if I am seen. And by seen, I mean the fullness of who I am. Who is Christa Nicole Norris in this life right now? And what energy do I vibrate off? What's my particular energy frequency? What does my soul look like? What are my likes and dislikes? Where are my boundaries? Right? That's another issue. Talk about another time. Where are my boundaries? And within and through all of that, another connecting thread is, what is my soul mission? What is my soul path? And why am I here right now, today? Why was I born in Boulder, Colorado, February 7th, the year I was born? Why? Well, lots of reasons. And, more of that I will be sharing in weeks to come. As I've already started sharing with many of you in differing ways, and definitely through these Sunday sermon videos that I began in January this year. So yeah, it's all about unraveling those layers of the onion. And for me, coming here today, being seen by each of you, and making a promise that as and when I'm able to, as long as I have the disposable contacts available, I will always wear them, contacts instead of glasses, when I share with each of you, and when I do things like, workshops, speak in public, and so on. By speak in public, I mean do things like motivational talks and so forth. And part of what that symbolizes is that I am opening myself up to be seen even further, to be seen even more deeply, and for my essence to be connected with via my eyes, with each of you. Something, quick note for those of you who are interested in such things, may not already know. Throughout each lifetime, I'm talking about reincarnation and so on, the essence of our eyes always stays the same. Our eyes, there's this phrase that your eyes are the gateways to your soul. Definitely. Another way to connect with them, with your soul, by the way, through your heart. Because that's where pure love comes out, and it's beautiful, beautiful to connect with. But our eyes always stay the same. Now, I am quite a visual person. I always have been from the time I was really little. I've always loved, for instance, taking photographs. My first camera I got when I was 7, and so on. And I've always been a little bit artsy in my own way. But anyway, and for many, many years, my best friend, Lottie, she will attest to this, from when we shared a locker in high school. I've always had a real fascination with eyes. One of the things I would do, people, if they looked at my locker and didn't know me, they could have been, that's a bit strange, because I would cut out eyes from magazines, and I would just put eyes, lots of different eyes, on my half of the locker. Lonnie had the other half. But I would do that along with pictures of Depeche Mode and so on. But yeah, there's always been something about the eyes for me. And I think what it is, and I know what it is, it's not just think I know these things, I feel it, is that there has always been a deeper part of me, a real beautiful aspect of my soul and my spirit that has known this about the eyes. When we look at people in the eye, when you look at either eye, when you look at yourself, when you look at others, you are sharing a very deep aspect of yourself, because that's you. That's just you, right? I'm not wearing any makeup. I don't tend to anyway. I've gotten don't really care about it usually nowadays, ever since I started to be a nanny when I was 19. But I used to wear a lot of eye makeup all the time. And it's not to say that eye makeup is bad, of course. However anyone wants to express themselves in whatever way makes you feel beautiful and empowered, that's all that matters. For me, this is just me. And it's something I personally feel comfortable doing. Where I was hiding, though, was having on the glasses. Now, the part of the reason I mentioned the makeup and so on is that sometimes, not always, definitely not always, just sometimes, like my glasses were serving as a mask to keep an aspect of myself hidden, makeup can do the same thing for some people. Again, this is not everyone that wears makeup has an aspect of themselves that they're afraid to be seen. Every once in a while, though, sometimes that is what's happening. And so just a question for you to ask yourself, and you'll know what the answer is there any aspect of yourself, whether you're a man or a woman, whether you wear makeup or not, or wear glasses or not, is there any aspect of yourself that you are hiding and keeping locked away from the world? Is there any aspect of yourself that you have learned to shield? Sometimes this happens when people have excess weight. Sometimes it can happen through clothing. Wearing, let's say, for instance, baggy clothes instead of form-fitting ones. Instead of maybe clothes that are a little bit more bright colored, funky designs, things that maybe will blend in a bit more. Maybe it's not sharing your opinion with others. Maybe it's not feeling confident enough to say how you actually feel and what you actually think about things. Maybe you've learned to hide your thoughts and your opinions. There are a lot of ways we can hide. And so I encourage you to think about for yourself, what are the ways and the aspects that you can start showing and sharing with the world who you are. Because, we are done in this world, in this universe, with shame. And that's essentially what it comes down to. Whenever you are hiding aspects of yourself in that way, there is a place and a space within you that feels shame for who you are. It's really sad, isn't it, when you think about it? But that's logically and truthfully what's going on. Because if you didn't feel that shame, if you didn't feel scared of people seeing aspects of who you are, you wouldn't be hiding them, right? You wouldn't be keeping aspects of yourself hidden. Now, for me, again, with the glasses and having my eyes be seeing my gateways to my soul, showing them and sharing them with each of you and making a promise to myself that I'm going to be doing this more and more. It's really showing and sharing with all of you, with the world and the universe, as well as making a promise and a commitment to myself that I am releasing fully that latest layer of shame, that latest layer of being seen. Now, there are reasons why we create barriers for ourselves. There are reasons why you will have done that if you are. And those reasons make perfect sense when you look into what was happening and what was going on and why those barriers came in the first place. So none of this is about judgment, by the way. Obviously I've had layers of my own to dip into and to be able to release. So it's definitely not about judgment at all. And if anything, such empathy for where you're at and where you have been, if that is going on, because there's a reason why we each develop and carry out certain mechanisms and self-coping mechanisms, whether or not those mechanisms work for us now and are beneficial for who we are and how we feel as a person today, how you feel as a person today. There's a reason why those things came in, and they are doing the best job they know how. They're just wanting to help you. They want to keep you safe and make sure that you'll be loved and that you will belong in the world and with whoever is important to you. What we can do, though, and what you can begin to do, excuse me, is to again look at where and what spaces are you perhaps hiding aspects of yourself, and is that something you need to do any longer? Just a question, just to ask. And even that can be and is so powerful. So I encourage you to begin asking yourself that question today. And in this week's Hot Tip Tuesday, I will share with you more tools and techniques for how you can start to really release some of those layers in a way and at a pace that feels right for you. Because my speed and the way in which I do things may not be what you specifically need and what feels good for you. That's part of what I help my clients with. But, and vice versa, my speed, you may be able to take that Band-Aid or that plaster off a lot more quickly than I do. We all have different ways of doing it. So part of it is being able to recognize for yourself, for you, what is your speed and what feels good for you. And giving yourself permission to be where you are at, as well as to welcome in where you are going There's something so magical about that, so beautiful. I'm going to end this week's Sunday's sermon with all of you, for all of you. And I'm still in Somerset at the moment, staying with a friend. I'm actually looking at my next steps, which is amazing sauce. And, that's another layer for me personally of being seen. Oh, excusez-moi. Just adjusting my sitting there. And I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live on my personal page. For those who are interested in seeing it, I'm going to be doing more lives and groups and so on my business page and all of that. So each of you can connect with me in those ways. Also, I'm realizing it's another way for me that is beautiful and allows me to connect with you and also to be seen more. There's something really powerful about that. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, two different people actually, about the power in having our truth known. We connect as human beings through stories. The things I share about my personal life and my self-development, as well as my business development, I know have been a help for others, and that means so much to me. And I know this because people have told me directly. I've had comments and emails and so on that are just, it blows me away. I feel so grateful. I'm so honored to be a help, however I can be. And, and so sharing with each of you more and being more visible, I know, and it's also, just a part of how this universe works for each of us. I know that as I am seen more in the fullness of all that I am, and as I share more, inevitably, I will be connecting with someone, maybe it's you, who needs to see me in terms of see what I'm doing, in terms of to hear what's going on, what I share, because inevitably, inevitably, it will be something that will be a help to inspire you in your path and in your world. All right, I'm sending you all so much love, all the best. And, so again, do ask yourself those questions. And the next step you can ask yourself is, where and why did those coping mechanisms come into place in the first instance? So if you are shielding yourself in any aspect, in any way, what was happening to create the need for that to take place? Because there will always be a reason why. And, understanding all of that is a part of a healing process as well. For me, the layers, releasing even further layers of shame, releasing even further layers of the fear of being seen in my full authenticity. There are a lot of things I've gone through in this current lifetime. From the moment when I was 3, actually, I have a real sense I was like almost 3, not quite. Many things that have happened in this life. Essentially, as well, though, those core onion issues actually also date from previous lifetimes, way, way far back. And, and that is also a lot of the healing that I've been doing. So I encourage you to really be able and to be honest with yourself about what is happening. Because, the other aspect to all of this is that once you understand and once you know and allow yourself to feel and to really look at these things and, to be clear about it, there is such freedom and a freeing empowerment that comes from that. Because once you know and understand, you can do something about it. How awesome is that? Right? How awesome is that? And so for me, that's what I've been doing these past 2 days, even more deeply. Every day I do things to help myself. It's my self-care. It's very important. Helps me be at 100% so that I can be out there in the world and to help and be a support for each of you, which is a huge part of why I'm here. Also, it frees me as a person, as a spirit, as a soul. And that is so incredible and so empowering when it happens. So I wish you all the best. And I really want all of this for you. So find your freedom, find your empowerment. Give yourself permission to let this stuff go. And give yourself the chance to see and to know what is happening and why that stuff is there in the first place. That is going to be your huge key to freedom, to your freedom. All right, I'm sending you all so much love, all the best, always. I hope you're having an incredible weekend, a very happy day, and a beautiful Sunday. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Sunday sermon. And remember, we need you to shape your world. We are in this together, people. We are in this together, and you have a reason for being here. I have a reason for being here. There is something that we can each do to help this world be a better place. And there's something you can do to help you, and help those around you. We all have reasons, and there's so much opportunity that is there and available for each of us and for you. Thank you so much once again. All the best. And feel brave, be brave in going forward, because you really can, and you do every day, create your own destiny. All the best. Bye, everyone. Bye.